Zach, welcome to the show.
What's up?
We're talking about how we can increase our vertical jump. I know you've had great success your last year working with a specific high school basketball team. Why don't you give us a little bit of your background, and then we'll dig in and talk about some of the exercises that we as athletes can do to improve our vertical leap.
So my name is Zach Cramer, and I went to the National Personal Training Institute to become a personal trainer. So I've been a personal trainer in Grand Rapids, and I got the opportunity to coach under the great Coach Justin Johnson at Mona Shores High School, where I was an assistant coach of the varsity basketball team, specifically in charge of athletic development.
Now, from the preseason to the season, to the end of the season, you had some great results with athletes who were able to jump higher. I mean, I saw some of the videos of guys that couldn't get the rim were getting rim, couldn't dunk, now they're dunking. How did you program that from, the preseason on so that they could have those type of gains in, 6 months, even less than that?
Yeah, what we did is we incorporated a lot of powerlifting type of movements, such as the deadlift, the squat, and hang cleans. And those are a lot of things that contribute to really generating a lot of power. So we focused a lot on those things that they simply didn't have before. So adding those things in and taking the day one, how high can you jump video versus, once we start getting into the season, at the end of the season, the growth and the gains of speed, vertical, and explosiveness all together were just amazing.
So you listed 3 main exercises,
Yep.
and I think we're familiar with, the hang clean, the deadlift, the squat. I'm going to have you demonstrate that in a second. If you guys have questions about any of this stuff, because this is a real time video, Zach and I are on the other end watching this video with you. If you have questions, make sure that you comment. We can reply back to you right away. But how do you program it in the sense that we all know what a squat is, but you're doing it a specific way so that squat translates more to jumping higher than someone else who might also be squatting?
So this is huge, and this is everything when we're training specifically for explosiveness rather than hypertrophy or where we're trying to get bigger and something like that. We're training for explosiveness, blasting off the floor with as much power as we can with just our body weight. So to get that type of power, we have to create a load first, which is our weights when we have a bar and so forth. So what we started doing was we put as much weight as we thought we could do for 6 reps. So the max amount that I'm going to have you do is 6 reps, and for any one of the exercises, squat, hang clean, or deadlift. But if you get to 4 and you're going through your sets, you get to 4 and you blast off and it's good, you're going to go down, you're going to accelerate through to the top of your squat as fast as you can. But if your 5th one isn't as fast as your 4th one and you go up a little slower, then just cut it off. Doesn't matter if you get to 6 so much. What matters is that we're recruiting as much power as we possibly can. So you rack the bar, set the bar down, whatever the exercise might be, and then we take a little rest before we attack our next set, adjust the weight to whatever we might need to, because power is the name of the game.
And basically the idea behind training this way is you're strictly training for explosiveness, and we can't jump higher unless we have explosiveness.
Yeah.
And so we're specifically getting to that. Now, let's demonstrate real quick a couple of those exercises, and you can talk, because I know when we talk about jumping, it's not necessarily the same as your basic squat. So let's go squat first, and you can talk about that for being more explosive, getting off the floor.
So a big thing about the squat, where depending on who you're training with, they're really gonna be a stickler about depth. But when you're training for athleticism, depending on what your sport is, getting to the bottom of your squat where you're sitting all the way down, you don't need to be a stickler about that when we're going for a vertical, because you're not going to get down that low, get your butt to the grass when you're jumping in a game. So we're trying to train for when we're on the hardwood floor. So if a player is only coming down this far, but has a decent amount of load on their bar, then we're gonna settle for this depth as long as they're blasting off, because that's an actual range of motion for a jump. So coming down here, this is great, we'll take it. But if they only come here and they're blasting off, while keeping their back straight, everything looks good, knees aren't coming forward, they're sitting back, putting all the weight in their glutes, and then standing up, then that's what we're really shooting for.
No, I love that, and I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but maybe a year ago there was a video where LeBron James was doing a squat, and there were so many experts on Twitter saying he was doing the squat wrong, and he was doing it just like you were demonstrating, because he's a basketball player, all right? He's got the best doctors and trainers in the world, and they're saying we want to be more explosive for basketball, so we're not going to do a full squat going all the way down to the floor, because that's not going to transfer like this is going to transfer. I love it. So for you guys that are watching this, I mean, he's literally breaking down a squat that most of your coaches are probably going to say is doing it wrong. He's demonstrating the same thing that LeBron James has been shown, and he was getting eaten alive for it.
Yeah.
There's a reason people that are actually educated in this are teaching it certain ways, especially as it translates to the game of basketball. Let's go into the deadlift.
Deadlifts. The deadlift is going to get mostly more of our hamstrings. So with this one, you're actually going to try to sink lower. So we're going to get more of the full range of motion that we're not really caring about in a squat. We're actually going to get lower in our deadlift than we are in our squat. So you're going to come all the way down. If I had plates on, I'd probably be around here. So I'm going to sit down. I'm going to try to recruit as much of my legs as possible so that I can come down, and I'm thinking about pushing my feet through the floor. That way I'm using my legs as much as possible, and I'm not shooting my butt up and then using my back. So I'm trying to think about mentally in my head, I'm pushing my feet down through the floor, shooting my hips forward. So where the power comes in this is that you are trying to stand up as fast as you possibly can, one motion, and then shoot your hips forward into that bar as hard as you can at the top.
Now, in sports especially, we talk about triple extension. So as we're exploding up, we got the ankle, the knee, and the hip, boom, and the timing of that coming forward. Can you talk about that and how it translates to what you're demonstrating right here?
So when this is a perfect example of what a jump is, we're just not using our arms, which is going to translate to the floor even better, because obviously in a game we're going to be able to use our arms. So as we're coming down, we're going to be able to stand up and use all of those things while having a heavier load than we would in a game. Just like you said, we're coiling ourselves up and then just extending, which is just going to make us fly.
Next exercise, the hang clean. So that's really good for vertical leap. We got some upper body into it. Let's dig into that.
If you can get your hang clean good and strong and heavy, then your vertical is gonna go up. This is maybe the most crucial exercise of the three. So hang clean, I'm coming down about a little bit above my kneecaps. I'm coiled up. In this one, I'm actually gonna be able to use my upper body a little bit more. So I'm coming down, I'm standing up as fast as I can, shooting my shoulders back, ripping my elbows high, and catching it. Coming back down. So this has all of the power components that we're looking for in a jump. So my glutes are firing through forward, my quads are firing through forward, and my low back and my upper back is rocketing this bar as hard and fast as it possibly can up to my shoulders above my chest. And we'll keep repeating that. And if my last one, the one I just did, isn't as powerful as my last one, I set it down, I take my rest, and then I come back and I attack and try to go for 6.
Can you demonstrate one time full speed for us to look at the film?
So here I am. I'm proud. Back looks good. Back is straight. Coming down.
Now I've seen some athletes actually go boom and they're actually coming off the floor.
Yeah.
Is that good, bad? Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter so much. Yeah, that's just maybe you don't have enough weight on so you can actually get off the floor, and that's a scenario where it might depend on the coach, but I would say put a little bit, if you can get off the floor, just put a little bit more weight on. so that you're getting as much as you can out of the exercise rather than jumping off the floor.
Okay, so those are great weight room type exercises, but I know you got one more. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
What's another exercise that's easy for anybody to do? No weights, you don't even have a bar, but you can work on your vertical leap without anything else but your body.
This is one that our players hated, but it was the lunge walk. Just simply knee down. We're going for a long walk, just lunge walking. So a lot of people think, well, you don't have any weight. What is this? You know, I've done lunge walks before, but it's like, have you gone a quarter mile? Have you gone a half mile before? Like, cause this is where it comes down to at the end of the game in the fourth quarter, Team A versus Team B. Team A has been lunge walking, Team B hasn't. Who's still gonna remain explosive? Who's still gonna remain fast? And whose legs are still gonna be there through all 4 quarters and into overtimes? It's gonna be Team A. If they're lunge walking consistently, their legs are not going to fail.
It's kind of a unique exercise because it really incorporates a lot of you're feeling the muscles burning more than you would if you were just kind of going for a run. Like, it takes a long time for me to run for me to actually feel my legs. Like, I'm probably gonna feel it more in my lungs before I feel anything in my legs. With the lunge, it's kind of the other way around. You're feeling it's fire, but it's almost like you're lifting weights even though there's nothing there. For you guys that are watching, as of now, I'm close to 300 straight days doing at least 100 lunges a day. That's the minimum, and it's helped me a lot. Not only continuing to be able to jump high, but my knees have felt better. My lower back has felt better. My hips have been good. So that does have some benefits there. So we've talked about our main exercises. If you guys have questions on any of these right now, make sure you comment. We're finishing up the video pretty soon. Is there any advice that you would give somebody for what you see athletes do wrong when it comes to working on their vertical?
I would say a lot of athletes just run a lot. They like to run because it's simple. That's what you're taught. I'm going to go for a run, you know. But there's so many better things such as the lunge walk that can actually give you the things that you need. So if you're going on a long distance run, that's not necessarily the type of, it is in a basketball game, you do long distance running, but a lot of it is explosive. So what I would say is, you know, if you're going for long runs, do long lunges instead. A lot of people think it might be bad for your joints, but it's actually incredible for your joints because you're putting it through the full range of motion so that it can get blood there, it can get all the fluids that it needs there so that it can actually get better than it was before. So that's something that I see a lot is just a lot of running, especially. We weren't built to run on cement. That's really hard on your joints. We're meant to run on grass. There wasn't cement back when we were created. So that's another thing is I would say try to minimize the long distance running and try to really incorporate these things. Because another thing that's really fascinating when you break down the science of running is that your body is smarter than you are. So when you're running for a long period of time, your body's like, well, I'm not using some muscle up here. It requires a lot of oxygen and it's heavy. I'm smart, I'm gonna get rid of some of this muscle and I'm gonna keep the stuff that I need. So if you're doing cardio in a lunge walk and you're trying to lunge walk fast, you're using your muscle. So your brain says, I can't continue on and sacrifice losing any muscle because I need this muscle to power up and down through this lunge walk. That's another reason that I just lunge walk all day.
Yeah, I love it. Those are great explanations, and I would agree that's a mistake that I see a lot of athletes make. It might be June, July, and they're running miles and miles and miles. I'd say your only cardio should be going 5-on-5 open gyms. Besides that, work on being athletic, being explosive right there. Zach, thanks for your time. That was awesome stuff. I know I'm going to watch this video myself a couple times, take some notes on it. That was really good. Thanks for checking out our video today. If you guys have any questions, keep them coming, and we'll try to help you guys out as much as we can. Peace.